So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sharon Whiteman, and warm welcome to everybody who hears now. And I know quite a few people come after the hour and then listen to the recordings or watch the recordings down the track. We appreciate each and every one of you. And, we're all blessed to be a part of this community. I partner with Diana and Gary every week to bring this training. And today we're very blessed to have Robyn Sully. Now, Robyn has been a passionate educator for the benefits of wellness since being introduced to Manitech science and supplements over 20 years ago. Having been a nurse, she knew that to address chronic health challenges needed more than a drug mentality. Following her own personal experience in recovering her wellness, she has consistently researched and is committed to sharing the blessings that Manitech supplements have to offer. She was awarded the Mike Forrest Giving Spirit Award in 2013 and the Ray Robbins Giving Spirit Award in the US in 2014. Robyn's passion is to see an educated people living in wellness and sharing how we can be a solution to one of the world's biggest problems, malnutrition, through our mission 5 million M5M. In this time together, we're going to be looking at why it's more important than ever for you to have everything you need for your absolute wellness at that cellular level. Now, I'm a friend and colleague of Robyn's for many, many years now, and there's nobody more dedicated to educating everybody she meets, including us. I know she spent the better part of yesterday preparing for this, and we're all in for a treat. So, Robyn, let's go back to the beginning. How were you introduced to Manitech?
Well, it's a long story, Sharon, but I had a motor vehicle accident in 1995, which left me with many, many debilitating symptoms for 8 years. And I was blessed with what we call a Manitech angel. And that was in the presence of a dear departed friend now, Julie Newey. And Julie saw me at church crippling around the place, and she said, look, I think I've got something that can help you. And she rang me 6 times, and 6 times I put Julie off. And my main reason, Sharon, was because this thing called glyconutrients, as she called them, or sugars, was only sold by network marketing. And I had a mental block to network marketing, thinking that if it was any good, it wouldn't be sold that way. And so after 6 times, Kyna heard me one day, and she said, Mum, you're not really too busy. You are just stubborn and you don't want to go. And that really cut my heart. And I thought, yes, Kyna's right. I am stubborn and I don't want to go. So I swallowed my pride and I picked up the phone and I rang Julie back and I said, Julie, we will come. Kyna and I will come. And that's where I started, Sharon. And that is roughly 20 years ago. And my life took a massive change and turn health-wise from that point on.
Wow. I got goosebumps on my goosebumps here, Robyn, hearing that. You never know when destiny is knocking at the door, do you?
No, never.
It's incredible. I can identify with you. I was very anti the network marketing thing, and that was my largest barrier when I was first introduced. I think it's 24 years this month, actually. I don't know. I didn't know it for what it is and for the power that it has to use it in whatever way any individual would like to use it. That there's no pressure to participate in a way that's not comfortable for you. And anyway, we now know we're preaching to the converted here, but it's just such an awesome tool to get something like this, which is disruptive technology, right? Like you and I wouldn't have heard about it through our nursing channels.
No.
And still wouldn't.
No. Well, my shoulder specialist in Sydney, who's actually rated the best in Australia and number 5 in the world, he had never heard of it. And when he saw, after 8 years, the improvement in my health, he just said, you're a lucky girl. And I tried to explain to Prof. Sonovan, there's no luck in this at all. It's got to do with the biochemistry of my body and what my body is created to take in to make it work properly. And that's, Sharon, what I hope to be able to do today on one very small area, and that is it's actually the small area, but it's the biggest area, and that's our gut health. And that's why I wanted to major on that, because I see that as being the foundation of where we step out from.
Awesome. You know what your surgeon just said to you there is a real example of cognitive dissonance, isn't it? Where they, where you're just lucky because they just can't compute that there might be something outside of their medical training as powerful as what we have.
And I think, Sharon, there's another element to this, and it's come forward very much in the last 3 years with the medical profession, and that is the control that the pharmaceutical industry has upon our medical profession. They are not free. And my professor was actually the head of the Orthopaedic Association of Australia. And you could imagine what slack he would have got had he have endorsed this product for the fact that I had no functioning minor nor major pectoral muscle in my right shoulder. And he's a shoulder specialist. My endocrine guy was exactly the same, improving my thyroid function to being almost 100% normal. 4.9 and 5 was normal, and I went from 14.5 to 4.9 in 20 weeks. And without thyroxine, he could not believe it. But he didn't say, well, Robyn, what is this thing? I was jumping over the moon expecting him to say, oh, what a wonderful thing this is, girl, get going, He just said, keep doing what you're doing, you've healed yourself. Yeah. So we've got a lot, Sharon, that we can, really hang on with our Manatech supplements, and we're so blessed.
Yeah, we are. And I think one of the things, the blessings of COVID is it's exposed that entrapment that our doctors are facing right now, right? That, how it's getting harder and harder to tell the truth about well-being, and they can't think for themselves anymore. So obviously there's solutions coming for that, but in the meantime, it's we the people. So this is something that we can take into our own hands. And one of the things that I think is most passionate for me, and I think for you as well, Robyn, is that everyday people aren't educated at the power that they have in their own hands to impact their wellness. Yes. We don't have to just wait till we get sick and go to the doctor. There's so much we can be proactive about it, and nutritional glycans has to be part of it. So yes. I know you wanted to talk about some recent studies, Robyn. What were that? What can you outline those for us?
Yes, Sharon, I wanted to speak actually about the gut function. But first of all, I need to say a very big thank you for the privilege that you've given me this morning to be able to share with our Manatech family. We have scientifically, and to use the modern phrase that our CHOs use, safe and effective supplements. These are scientifically proven, folks out there. These have never had a black mark against their name. They've never had class law action brought against them, Sharon. So we've got wonderful supplements, and the research that's coming out now is supporting the 20 odd years, 29, I believe it is, years of Manatech's research and development in a scientific fashion. So big thank you, Diana, big thank you, Gary, and to Sharon, because you three musketeers, you've actually given us the tools through these Saturday morning calls to be able to educate ourselves, to encourage ourselves when we're cast down, and many of us are at times. And you've given us those tools to pick it up again and run with it. And that helps us with confidence to be able to go and share what we have in our hands with Manatech supplements with every person we meet. Sharon, I have a few points that I'd like to speak to if I could first. And how I've tried to present this is by dot points, if that's possible, if I could do that. And I want to say that, the past 2 to 3 years have taught us very much, as Sharon and I have just said. But one thing I think we can all take away from today is if we don't have a healthy, functioning gut, we're behind the 8 ball, because our immune system, over 70% of it resides in our gut. So we've got to have a healthy gut. Now, how is it attacked? It's attacked with environmental toxins. Our foods are flooded with it. Our water, our air we breathe, every single thing for human existence now is under massive attack. So I think that we need to look at these issues, and we need to see where Manatech can fit into those. Stress levels are up through the roof. Suicide levels are huge, enormous. Breakdowns in relationships are huge. So we are having a big problem, and younger children are now showing massive problems. Social media and IT and all the IT things, technology, are supporting it. So the recent research that I was looking at was actually the microbiome, Sharon, and to see how our genes are affected, turned on and turned off by what we eat, what we put in our mouth, and how that affects the microbiome. And Sharon, I don't know how many of our Manatech people actually understand, I know I didn't, the microbiome and its actual function to even accepting and using our glycans. So I think that we talk about ambrotose, it acts as a prebiotic. And you know, when I learned that, I understood why all those studies that were done all those years ago couldn't actually find what was actually happening. All they knew was that people were getting better. Remember Dr. Reg telling us?
Yeah.
I gave it to the people and symptoms from A to Z started to get better. But now, because of all the recent research in science, we can actually rejoice and know why they get better. And they get better because of the way that we've been created inside in our microbiome to actually function immune system situation. And if we have a functioning immune system, we are going to have better health. The immune system actually now in the microbiome is actually called the ecosystem. We hear a lot about ecosystems out there in the waterways and goodness knows where. We need to look at what's happening in our own waterways. So the gut is called too the second brain. Did everybody know that? You've got two brains, actually you've got three, but we'll talk about the second one today. And that's the one that resides in our gut, because our gut sends the messages up the vagus nerve to the brain. I used to always think it was my brain that affected my gut, but no way. It's the other way round. Have you ever had those butterflies in your tummy? If you're facing some enormous situation, every time I was asked to speak at anything, the moment I was asked, I'd end up on the toilet. I'd have diarrhea. I once said to my GP, who was a personal friend, hey, why does this happen? He didn't have an answer. I have the answer now. It's because of this gut-brain thing. It's this connection. And that's why it happens, right? Because your gut first becomes involved and all those little things turn around. The message goes up to the brain, hey, what are you going to be doing here? So if you have those butterflies, that's what they're from. And it's a very intimate relationship between the gut and the brain. So it's vital for us. Our microbiome, Sharon, as you know, you asked me in my research, well, it influences your one big thing is your digestion, right? The microbiome influences how we digest and absorb the nutrients from our food. I've put down 12 things that the microbiome influences. I've mentioned digestion. I've talked about immune system function. 70% of the immune system resides in your gut, as I mentioned before. What about our neural development? Think of a little baby developing, the neural development. It's all happening in the gut. We have neurodegenerative disorders today, all because of malfunctioning gut situation. We have brain malfunction. We have mood swings, huge mood swings. Drive on the highway and see what it's like. Beep, beep, bop, push in front, right? It's everywhere. We have mental well-being problems. We have skin conditions. We have emotional problems. We have, and actually the immune system, the gut system rather, actually helps how the cancer immunotherapies actually work in the human body. And that's big news for lots of people out there on cancer immunotherapy treatments. So we've got a good need to have to speak to those people of their great need for gut health. What about autism? Statistics up through the roof. Obesity, Parkinson's, all those neurodegenerative diseases and inflammatory conditions. And, you know, they're just a few. They're just 12 of them. And there's a quote that I'd like to give, and that is this one, that everything that happens in our gut has an impact in the brain and over all our state of wellness. And that quote, I'll give you another one from that woman later. She's an assistant professor in neuropsychology, neurosciences in Houston, in Texas. And she made a very good quote there, something we need to take note of. Now, Sharon, you know very well as I do, and some of you Manitechers will know, that our science goes right back to the ancients. And, you know, there's a lot we can learn from the ancients, and they're not so dumb and stupid as we sometimes like to put them in a box. They were actually very wise. Way, way back, if you study history, you'll see that the gut was the seat of everything in their thinking as far as illness, disease, and those sorts of conditions were. And the dear father of medicine, he said this, and we all know it well: let food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. We are actually what we eat. And that's because your microbiome is the foundation. So if we're drinking Coca-Cola and eating pizzas and chips and rubbish all the time, our microbiome is down the tube. So we have to have food that's going to feed it. We need to be careful of our thoughts, because they also will affect our microbiome. And that was shown by the butterflies in your tummy. Stress, sadness, and happiness, all of these have a gut effect. Even in our own QIMR Berghoff Institute here in Queensland and Hurston, they are now calling for people to do gut-brain studies. So it's right here on our doorstep. So that was very encouraging when I found that out yesterday, Sharon, that right there in that institute, that's where they're doing research in this area. And look how far ahead Manitech is. Hey, yeah. We've had this research for years and we just have been sitting on it. So it's now recognised in mainstream medical journals. And something else that's very important for us are the neurons in our brain that actually cause us to be happy or sad and functioning. And that is that dopamine, 50% of it is actually produced in your gut, and 90% of the serotonin that's used is produced in our gut. Now, before, science used to say it was made in the brain, but it's not. It comes up and it goes into the brain. So both of these are neurotransmitters, and they are in our brain. And they increase the feeling of happiness, of mood, and all of those areas. And we can actually notice now in our society, Sharon, the increase of violence, aggression, and lack of common courtesy. So our Manitech supplements, we've got a great market out there, a great mission field to go and help people, because I'm sure people who are aggressive and miserable don't want to really be like that all the time. So, and they don't know why it's happening to themselves.
It's not recognized as malnutrition, is it?
No, not at all, Sharon. It's not recognized as that. And the other area I looked at was the whole area of genes on those tiny little microbes in our gut. And that's very exciting. And I think Dr. Nugent gave credence to this the other day when he was speaking. And I checked out his video, and you all can on YouTube. I just typed in YouTube, Dr. Nugent videos, GI Pro Balance, and up it came. And it's a good 25-minute listen. It's so exciting to realize that the genes in our little microbes there, they're numerous. Do you know that it's 100 to 1 to our others in our body? 100 to 1. And we're 10 times more bacterial cells than we are human cells.
Wow.
So this area needs a lot of attention, and we need to give it serious consideration. A healthy microbiome has a natural balance of good and bad bacteria. And these are very essential for the function of our immune system. If we want to be well, we have to have a good immune system. What has kept us safe these last 3 years? It hasn't been the point of a needle. It's actually been what we eat and what we've put into our gut. And I'm ever so grateful for Manatech supplements at a time like this. And we need to be able to get out there. Our sales for Manatech should be up through the roof, right around the world, because we've got the best. We've got the science behind our products. We haven't got Me Too stuff. We've got science-based products, safe and effective. We're not ending up in hospital because we're taking GI Pro Balance or Ambritose or Manopol or omega-3s with vitamin D3. We're not ending up in hospital with those. We're able to function in our daily jobs and in our daily lives. So Sharon, I want to just give, if I can, some practical things now to help people, some prebiotic foods that you can consume to help you, because at the moment we just don't have GI Pro Balance. I've had to get mine in from the US to keep my gut going. So here are some prebiotic foods, folks, that you can think about taking. Every day, have some asparagus. I've added asparagus every single day to my diet, and it's good. Artichokes. Now, I don't have a clue about those, and I don't even know how to use them. So maybe somebody can give us a clue one day on how to use artichokes or research it. I have not done that. Bananas. They are a good prebiotic. Leeks, onions, garlics, almonds are, whole grains, and surprisingly, salmon. And you have to make salmon sure that your salmon you purchase is not farmed, because it does not have the omega-3 content. It is an omega-6, and we need omega-3s, and we need it from the sea. So that's very important. Sharon, I don't know whether many of us know, but I learnt in this little bit of research I had the short time to do yesterday, is just the importance of omega-3 with the vitamin D3 for our microbiome. And it helps in the biodiversity. You see, the microbiome, we don't want to have just the same little critters running around. We need a diversity. The body needs diversity, and that's why in creation you'll find we just don't have strawberries and blueberries and apples. We have a whole plethora of beautiful fruits and vegetables that we can choose to eat. And that's the reason why, is because we need biodiversity. And it's the omega-3 with the vitamin D3 that gives better biodiversity for your microbiome. The omega-3 with vitamin D3 provides additional strength for the gut lining. Now, isn't that good news for people with leaky gut syndrome and all those gut problems? Hey, come on, think about it. When you're helping someone now, Manatech family out there, don't just give them Ambritose knowledge. Give them the knowledge of omega-3s with vitamin D3 and how essential this is. And omega-3 with vitamin D3, it is essential. And the other issue I learned was that the omega-3 with the D3 in it, it actually helps in the absorption of calcium. Calcium is not an easy mineral to absorb in the human body. It needs some cofactors. And so this is why this is so important. And that's why our omega-3 is far superior to what you pick up on the shelf in the supermarket. Ours is a research, scientifically based product, and it's ultra pure, folks. You can take it and not think that you're going to get rancid oil in your body. And it doesn't taste horrible, and it's got no fishy aftertaste left in you. It also provides a stable environment for the gut flora, and that's important. I think those of you who listen to Dr. Nugent, you will know he always goes on about balance, balance, balance. And that's what this is doing for us. Yeah, balance is so important. Now, there's many things that come from having an imbalanced biodiversity in your stomach. And one of them, of course, is inflammation. Inflammation is one of the root causes of most health challenges today. And how does that come about? Well, we have to digest what we put in here. So when we eat that asparagus or the artichoke, when I learn what to do with it, the bananas and so forth, we have to learn, or the body has to know how to digest it, how to break it down and to absorb those very good nutrients. And we have to be able to take them up then into the gut. So we need a strong functioning immune system, which will come from the ingestion of those foods and assist in the prevention of our chronic illnesses and even certain cancers. Now, some bad effects that we will get from poor digestion and an unbalanced gut is allergies. Now, how many people, Sharon, do you know with allergies?
It's increasing, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, yes. Think of all the children going to school with EpiPens, right? There's quite a lot of them. I used to do vacation Bible schools and I stopped doing them because of all these kids coming with EpiPens. And I didn't want to be held responsible to the parents if something happened to that child in my care. It became so scary, actually, to see the number coming with their little EpiPens. So allergies are right on the increase. What else do we have problems with? Skin problems, right? All of these things. Mood swings. I think every one of us can testify to that. A mood swing here and there. Mental health issues. What has COVID uncovered? Massive mental health issues. Obesity, high cholesterol, it's all there. And there's many, many more. And did you know that the genes, as I mentioned before, in our gut outnumber what happens in the cells of our bodies? So Manatech provides us with world-class, first-class, scientifically validated, safe and effective supplements. I want to recommend some of them now, Sharon, if I can, for our people.
That'd be great. Thank you.
The first one will be, of course, GI Pro Balance. Now, we don't have that one here at the moment, but I read yesterday that we're going to be getting a new Formula One. I hope it's the one the US has, because there are billions and billions and billions of little live critters in that one, and it's very good. And I've actually noticed a little difference in my gut since the last month consuming the Manatech US GI Pro Balance, very much.
It's going to be almost the same.
Oh, good. So that'll be wonderful, wonderful for us to have that here. And you know, folks, it's so easy and convenient. It's a little slim stick. All you do is rip the top off, open your mouth and take it. And you know, even children can take it and enjoy it. It's a really nice flavor in there. It's formulated to work specifically with our ambitose complexes and life and our manopole. So when you take the GI Pro Balance, it actually has the uptake of the ambitose glycans better. And I believe that's because the glycans act as a prebiotic in the gut. And Sharon, isn't that why we've had such wonderful results over all these years with every single health challenge? Is because of that foundation, that those glycans actually act as prebiotics in the gut.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's really thrilling to think that that's how it's all working. And Manatech didn't know when they put those glycans together, they did not know that it was actually a prebiotic. And I think that's the most wonderful thing. You see, the prebiotic has to feed something. So it's feeding the probiotic that we're taking in through our foods and through our GI Pro Balance. Remember, every day, GI Pro, the ambitose complex products, and Manopole. And we're so blessed to be having Manopole. I'm starting to take more of the Manopole every day now, and I would recommend that to others as well. Remember that it's biodiversity that we need in the gut flora, and that is enhanced by our omega-3 with the vitamin D3. Now, in recent studies, and this one was published just on the 9th of November, 2022, and it was done by a woman, an assistant professor she is, at the Houston Medical Research Institute, and her name is Sonia Villapool. Villapol. And she made this quote: "A better understanding of the interactions between the gut and the brain will bring greater opportunities for the diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of disease." Now, Sharon, that takes me right back 20 odd years, because there was research done that we were privy to in Manatech, which said that it wasn't until we got a handle on this very, very thing that we're talking about now, the gut, the working of these glycans, will we ever understand all of the disease states that the human body is subjected to. And that's because this is the foundation. What's happening in your gut and your microbiome, that's your foundation. And that's why Manatech for so long has taught us the foundation is our glycans, because they're the prebiotic. The probiotic is our GI Pro Balance. We're all working synergistically together. And that's just exciting to me, because that will help us to be able to address these issues. You see, Sharon, our body's a magnificent creation. We've been carefully designed by the hand of a loving and a caring God. And I believe it's our duty to keep them in good working order. And I think that Manatech plays a huge role in this. And you three musketeers there every Saturday, you're playing a massive role to help us be educated so that we can utilize our nutrients with knowledge and with power to those we go to speak to. Sharon, our future for wellness will never come from the point of a needle. It will only come by as we carefully feed our microbiome with the foods that it's designed to take in to fulfill this task. And I'm so grateful to you all, so grateful to Manatech for the blessings that this technology has given to me and to those that I've sought to help. You know, my little Vincent, you should see him now. He's coming along absolutely amazingly. And I'll show you, this is a picture that we had last year of Vincent.
Yeah.
Gorgeous little thing. And he's just coming along now. He's starting to put words together and speak. And I believe that's because of the fact that he's been blessed for his little 14 years with these wonderful supplements.
Yeah. You know, it's like no matter what life throws at you, the world, whatever, with these as a foundation, you can mitigate the impact of just about anything that comes at you. And, you know, in 24 years, Robyn, you and I have seen a lot of things that in our training would have been impossible. We would have been educated to know that this isn't possible, and we've seen it, you know, and we're in a regulatory climate right now where we can't even say that these products helped us or that we gain benefit from them, which is, I mean, people got to give their head a shake about that one. But anyway, but the miracles we've seen in 24 years is just amazing. And we're safe, we're effective, we're scientifically solid, we're really conservative, but progressive at the same time. You know, they don't do anything to cut corners so anybody who's worried, you know, I know it's hard to put your reputation and your ethics in sharing good news with people, but really you can trust Manatech. And we have, you know, we're disruptive, right? So we do have had people taking pot shots at us over the years. And we have had, you know, I know sometimes if you search on Google, you'll find some negative things about Manatech, but if you put it against the list of the positive, it's a drop in the ocean. And if you know the truth behind them, is the fact that, you know, and this associate, a member of Manatech at one point, might have said the wrong thing about the products. And that's why we're really careful about what we can say, that this gives food for our cells to do its best functioning ever. And then I can't remember what the other issue is on the internet, but the bottom line is, if you look at the science, there's nobody like us. And the other thing I'd like to just mention is the back order issue right now. Manatech used to have a 3-month time period, which they had to look forward to their stock control. with all the shipping issues around the world right now and the supply chain issues, they have to plan a year ahead, which if you can imagine in a growing company, how do you prepare for a year ahead in knowing it's impossible? It's, it's humanly impossible. So, it's frustrating, but we all have to be patient and respectful for Meditech, because they really are doing their best to keep things. And apparently, Chris Simons mentioned in the meeting this week that there's $1 billion direct selling company that has just had to shut its doors because it can't get stock. And that's a reality for all kinds of business. And matter of fact, one of the things that happened GI Pro is one of the manufacturers of one of the ingredients that was in our product is unable to get that ingredient, so that it just stopped everything. And that's why we've got this rather lengthy back order with GI Pro. So, we're in unprecedented times in really rough waters in the health world. And Meditech is really proactive in doing their best to ensure that we have our stock. And I can see Rhonda talking about her stock control. I've got I don't know I've got cupboards full of stuff. But I probably not enough GI Pro balance for 6 months. But anyway, yeah, I do. And I'm telling all my customers, if you're someone, and there's lots of my customers that can't go a day without Ambertose, have 3 months supply, always have 3 months supply. So,
I think, Sharon, if we look at what I've been doing is looking at the expiry dates of each of my products. And then if I've got a 2024 or 2025, as I have with Ambertose, I buy 20 tubs, because people ring me up all the time. Oh, Robyn, I've got no Ambertose. And when it went out, I gave out about 10 tubs to people because they couldn't get it. And they were people who need it.
Yeah.
Their daily health depends upon it. And so I think that if we can keep a good stock and look at our expiry dates, keep a good stock, well, I know I'm going to live with Ambertose till 2025. That makes me feel happy. And because by 2025, I'm going to be another 3 years older.
And we're all your friends, Robyn.
I'll be 76 then.
Right over.
So, I just think I'm not going
all right,
to
so
Ambertose.
Yeah, no, me neither. I've got a cupboard full of Ambertose and Manipul. There's, lots of other things too. Bounce back. Yeah, good question, Rhonda. How do you manage without GI Pro? I don't know either. And it's, it's unfortunate. It's not really a laughing matter, but it's also unavoidable. So,
I think the only thing is we have to band together. And if we bring it in from the US, and I know it's costly because the dollar, when I bought my last lot in, the dollar was 62. So it's almost double price. But what price do you put upon your health?
Yeah.
And instead of taking 2 or 3 a day, just take 1 a day when it's so expensive. So that's what I've been trying to do, and trying to help the people that I help do it that way.
Awesome, Robyn. So what would you like to leave people with today in regards to the gut and your immune system and being proactive with your health?
Well, the first thing I'd like to leave them with is I hope they've taken one point away, and that is that our immune system is what has kept us the last 3 years. It's either kept us or it's failed us. And whichever camp you're in, you have to look at it and say, well, if I have failed, I need to take these Meditech products, and I need to go to every person I know and share with them why I've been able to stand. I do a little job morning and at lunchtime, after lunch, at that school for the lollipop. Now, I did it for 4 years because a friend rang and said, we can't get any help, Robyn. Can you please find it in your heart to just give a hand? So I did. And then when the COVID thing came, of course, I was put off because I wasn't jabbed. I was a danger standing out there in the open air to the children and the people. So I was put off, and I didn't care because that just gave me more time with Vincent and other things. And then I got a phone call from the woman who runs it, from Transport, and she said, Robyn, we urgently need you back. Can you please come? We urgently need you. And I said, oh, I'm not a threat now. She said, oh, no, not now. Everything's fine. So I said, okay. only because I love those children. And I know that you've got so many crossings that are unmanned, and some of them are dangerous. Cars whiz by. So I went back. And you know, I've had to go and fill in at every different school around the place here because of sickness in those jabbed people. And I'm still standing unjabbed. So that's what I want to leave people with. How come at 72 years of age, I've been able to keep doing this and they can't? And obviously it's your immune system. But I haven't cocooned myself. I've been out and about. I've never put a mask on my face ever. So I think and I mix with Vincent, who's in that schooling system, bringing all the bugs and things home. How have I kept him? I've kept him because of the wonderful benefits of our products. GI Pro, Manopole, he calls them. He says, big and strong, Robo, big and strong when he takes it. And we just have to teach our children. It's wonderful, big and strong. I mix it up. I put Ambritose, GI Pro Balance. I put reds and greens, or he calls them reds and greens, and Ambritose, and I shake it all up and I make it in a little bottle, and then I give it to him throughout the day. And he has that. He has his shake as soon as he comes in. He has the chocolate. He loves the chocolate one. And he has that. We blend it up with the Osoline, and that helps his muscle coordination. So, you know, we've got so much, Sharon. If I want to leave anybody with anything, learn to love your products. Learn what they do. You know, even Emprozone has an amazing benefit. Vincent came with some bites the other day, all up his legs. I've got photos of them. They were horrible. And I said to his mother, where did he get these? Are they sandflies? Are they mozzies? What are they? She didn't know. So I thought, righto, in the bath, put him in the bath, got him out, and I rubbed him over with Emprozone all over. And do you know, by the time he left, those bites were just about disappeared. And they were quite red and flaming when he came. So we've got so much in our hands, and we just need to know how to use them. You know, I clean my teeth many times with Emprozone, right? Put it on.
That's committed.
Hey? It's good.
That's committed. You're diehard, Robyn.
Stick it around your eyes because your skin is porous, right? And move it around on your eyes. I do that on Vincent's eyes because, you know, he's only got 30% sight in one and 15 in another. It's not much.
Wow.
So I rub it on his eyes because I say, oh, dear God, please help Vincent's eyes to improve. Use this wonderful product we have. So if I want to leave anything is love your products, learn what they do, and then go out and share it with everybody because we've got such a gift. And there's so many out there sick.
Robyn, God bless you. Thank you so very much for being here with us this weekend. We can celebrate, you know, our great technology. Next week, as we know, we're having a training, so there'll be no Saturday call. And then we'll be back. I'm trying to get Albala for the end of the year or the beginning of the year. And as soon as I get that confirmed, I'll fill the spots around it. So have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Robyn.
Thank you, Musketeers.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.